TJ, come on.
This is going to be a finish we'll be talking about.
Here comes the 18.
On your door.
And Kevin Harvick's going to win.
That's the teammate right there, everybody.
A dozen cars will crash and collide. Sparks fly.
Puts the ball in the back of it. Kyle Busch will win. Wow. Eric Jones has won at Daytona. Playoff points so important. More points going to Mark Truex Jr.
Get pussy, baby. Come on.
Well, it's been a great first 3 weeks for us. Now we're at New Hampshire, going to set the field for Sunday's race. Qualifying so important here. So we'll see who can step it up today and sit on the pole. Well, we talked about qualifying, how important it is, Steve. This racetrack, to me, is one of the most difficult places to get qualified. Why is it important to qualify well?
Well, I think from the crew chief's mindset, the idea is to get a good pit stall. When you look at New Hampshire's pit road, very narrow. The stalls are very small. So there's 8 or 10 decent stalls you can guarantee yourself an opening either in front or behind you. So while the pole is the ultimate goal, I'm happy as a crew chief if we just make the third round. If we make that top 12, at that point, I think we're going to have a little bit decent of an opportunity to control our race day by having a good pit stall.
Yeah, and this track's always changing, especially with the application of PJ1. Guys haven't been on it. We've had a couple practices since with the Xfinity cars and the K&N Series. The K&N Series runs a different tire. How's the track changed? As a driver, I'm thinking, hey, all right, I remember the line that I ran in the first practice that I liked. I got to go out there and try to hit that line, hope the grip's there, hope the tires come in, hope the heat in the tires is there, and that the car's going to handle well. And as I'm running this practice, I also want information from my spotter to tell me what the other guys are doing. Has somebody changed their line? What is, if there's a guy that's faster than me, what is he doing differently as far as where he's running on the racetrack to find that grip and find that speed?
For me, qualifying here is so important because track position is so hard to get. And once you have it, you got to fight to protect it. So I just think it's a hard racetrack to pass on, so I want to qualify well. So it just makes it easier for me on Sunday. But, Marty, you were somebody that knows a little bit about winning and running well at New Hampshire.
Yeah, that would be Kevin Harvick. I think he knows a thing or two about what it takes to run well at this racetrack. But let's talk about qualifying and how difficult it is. Is this one of the most difficult places to put down a perfect lap, Kevin?
It is, because there's a fine line of driving it in far enough and too far, and getting off the brake and not rolling out of the groove and being able to get the car pointed and be in the throttle enough to make time. So, this definitely hasn't been my strong suit, qualifying on the weekend for this particular racetrack. But I think as it rolls around, we decided to stay in qualifying trim today with our Busch Beer Ford to try to just concentrate on today, because the racetrack stays so much, and as tomorrow comes around, there'll be rubber on the racetrack with the PJ1, kind of see how everything develops, and then we can work on our race stuff.
How challenging does that make it? Because as you mentioned, it's an ever-changing landscape here. I mean, it'll change throughout the race, right? But much less Friday to Saturday.
Well, the PJ1 wears out, moves around. So you got to have a car that's versatile, and you got to be able to drive it. And all the things that you used to do here in the past before they started putting the PJ1 down are kind of irrelevant, just because from a setup standpoint, you have to enter really high and then cut it across the racetrack, and then as it goes, the bottom kind of comes around. So you got to be able to move around. You got to be able to do some different things, and hopefully we can have a good weekend and keep that rain away.
And Jeff, we've heard it how many times? Other teams and drivers and spotters saying, hey, what line is that 4-car running? We know Kevin Harvick gets creative here at New Hampshire, but always seems to find speed.
Yeah, he's the first one to push that high exit off of turn 4 in the race, and some of that is that PJ1, and you heard him talk about how it's ever changing, and I think that the driver having in his mind that he's going to have to change in the race, but not only in the race, as you just mentioned, Junior, in qualifying. You may see somebody do something different, your spotter tell you, and you go try to do something different.
Yeah, that PJ1, the sticky stuff they put on the track to try to help the bottom of the racetrack, and that third groove, that's been the whole conversation in the garage. Well, the conversation up here right before we went on air, fantasy. I got my picks in. Dale Jr., get your picks in?
I'll let you know tomorrow. I watch practice, I got to see those average lap times tomorrow.
You're looking at tomorrow. Football, man.
I'll let you know when I win. When I win the
So
points.
basically, he is not going to tell us who he picked. But if you want to join the fun, just go online, NASCAR.com/NBC Sports Fantasy. You can compete against myself, Dale Jr., Burton. I got 2 leagues, Kyle Busch and Ryan Blaney. I went 2 different guys.
And Steve and I got our picks in literally about 2 minutes ago. As we're coming on air, we got them on. Remember, you got to get it in before the first round starts.
There's my guy right there. 5 points out of this guy driving the 12th car.
Welcome back to Monster Energy Cup Series qualifying. Looking forward to Sunday's race. Hey, guys, we got something going on. The fans here can vote. Here's a poll. They can vote on what we're going to wear during the race. Now,
It's like Christmas morning for my man over here. Look at
no
jeans
surprise,
and a T-shirt.
No surprise, jeans and a racing T-shirt. And I know you said you don't really have any T-shirts, so I don't know what you're going to do. But
I might go out to the souvenir stand and buy one.
coat and tie is all but dead here.
Oh,
That's disappointing.
I hope that our bosses are looking at this poll.
Oh, you think
Like
this
this could be an influence going forward.
revolutionary
Appreciate the
stuff?
fans for.
I mean, look at him.
Don't break Steve's heart. He's the only one voting coat and tie.
He's giddy.
He's coat and tie. Vote, 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 vote. That's my man Steve. He likes to dress up.
And listen,
I'm wondering who the 6% are.
I think it's
So
my mom.
it's you.
I think it's our parents. They want us to look good.
All right. Well,
That and Sam Flood, our boss.
let's get down to Rick on pit road. He's got Mark Truex Jr.
And by the way, Mark Truex Jr. voted for jeans and a T-shirt. He said that's the only way he would broadcast the race, is if he was up there in jeans and T-shirt. But we come to a racetrack that I think is very near and dear to your family as far as wins. You've won here a couple times in the East Series. You've won an Xfinity race, but you haven't won here in the Cup race. How big would it be to get that win here in the Cup Series?
Oh, it'd be huge, man. I told him in the media center today this was as big as Daytona for us and for me. So for sure, it'd be a huge one. I'm really optimistic about it. We've been so close here the last couple of years, leading tons of laps, and it just seems like we can't be up there at the end. So we're trying to figure that out. But so far, it's been a decent day, and hopefully we can have a good run here this evening and good practice tomorrow. Be ready for Sunday to go get them.
And they have momentum on their side, Marty.
His former teammate, Eric Jones, and I sarcastically say the biggest news of the week, the haircut. The mullet's gone, man. I heard at a midpoint in the haircut, you had a chance to keep it, and you said, nah, just get rid of it. Why?
I did. They told me I could trim it up, but if I can't go all out with it, I'm just gonna trim it down. So mullet's gone, but no, it feels good. A little less weight for this weekend, which has paid off so far. We were fast in practice, so we'll see what the DeWalt Camry's got here in qualifying. But a few small things I think we changed are going to help us out quite a bit, and if we went the right direction, I think we'll have a good shot at the pole.
At least he's going to be a little more aerodynamic this weekend. Hey, Steve, by the way, he said if you don't have a racing shirt and you're insistent on coat and tie, he'll send a racing shirt your way. He said he's got a few. You can borrow one of them.
Well, I mean, I appreciate his thought, but I'm going to have up a couple sizes for whatever Eric Jones normally wears.
And just to clarify, can you clean up a mullet?
What if
I mean,
he
is it possible to clean up
What if he
a mullet?
doesn't run well this weekend? Is he going to try to grow it back as fast as he can?
Oh, like
Hey, I'm going to go on record and say I just saw him. I'm not sure it's completely gone. There might be a little left.
partial mullet.
Catch all the action of NASCAR on NBC with the NBC Sports app. You can watch the race on there, and you can also see alternate camera angles, driver stats, and track information.
So I think I now know why he wants a T-shirt, because according to Elliott Sadler, we are plaid, platter, and platis for Dale Jr. today. So I think Elliott Sadler must have thought he's out of plaid shirts. That's why we're going T-shirt?
Now, he understands he works for you and can be fired, right? Because you're clearly plaidist.
He's having a good day, I guess. Car must be driving, turning good.
Well, that can end quickly.
Must be no issues from the Xfinity side.
Well, Steve, this is something you didn't abide by a whole lot, but we have rules here today. And group qualifying format, round 1, fastest 24 advance to round 2 in only 15 minutes. Round 2, fastest 12 advance, only give 10 minutes. And then round 3, it's going to determine the pole winner to top 12 in only 5 minutes.
And it's like a real driver. As he read those, he kind of had that look in his face like, I didn't know that's how it worked.
There's rules.
There's rules.
We got guys hitting the track already. We was waiting on to see if these guys would be patient, especially with the K&N cars just now having finished their practice. A little bit different tire. Will they wait and see if some of these, some of the other cars kind of work that rubber off of the track and put the Goodyear rubber down?
The other thing we've seen at this racetrack
Guys
in the
are rolling
past
around.
is just rolling around and getting some heat in your tires, just knocking that shine off sticker tires and then coming right back in. We have seen that done at a few racetracks. This is one of the racetracks we've seen. But remember, the K&N rubber This year they're on radials. So it's not like it's a different tire. So I don't think they necessarily have to wait. It was Xfinity practice, then K&N practice. It's really the same rubber.
So the 13 here, Ty Dillon. The 48 of Jimmy Johnson. Remember, he had that practice penalty. He didn't get to take part in the last 15 minutes of practice, but it still seemed like it was a decent practice. Ended up 6th quick. Clint Boyer here, a little surprising though, guys, in my mind. I expected him to be a little quicker, only 18th in practice. This is a car I'm going to look to see if they've made improvements so they can easily move out of round 1.
Yeah, it's interesting. All these guys, they're just scuffing their tires up. It's not really heat, I don't think, that they're trying to put in their tires. It's just stickers have a shiny look to them, and it's just buffing them up and getting that knocked off so they can hopefully run out and make this in 1 lap versus having to run 2 laps because your second lap will be quicker.
How about brakes? Is it all tires, or as a driver do you feel like you can get any temperature in your brakes in that little bit of outlap?
Also, these guys made laps in practice, and they know, like, hey, my car didn't quite come in as fast as I wanted it to. The crew chief can't do much about that outside
Whoa, say that again?
Can the crew chief do anything?
No, but
really.
I don't think you knew that when I was your guy. This is feeling a little bit better.
So I don't know about brakes. I think that they should fire right off on brakes. I don't know that that's an issue.
Yeah.
I think that they should be okay. I think that's exclusively of tires. Marty.
Yes, sir, Jeff, and it's also, as Steve mentioned, because of brakes. Talked to a couple crew chiefs. There you go. It gets a little heat inside the brakes. Hey, guess what? For the first time in, I don't know, ever, maybe months, there's no cars in inspections. All the cars are out here on the track ready to go for qualifying. I went back to some notes from last year. We had 19 cars still trying to get through inspection last year when qualifying started, but all of them are out here on pit road, so a pretty cool sight.
Do you have anything to say to me?
I think he's wrong.
Yeah.
But guys, as the clock winds down, we're closing in on 12 minutes. We see the 34 right here taking a green flag. The other, thing that comes to mind instantly is just how many cars can fit on the track at once, right? You can only wait so long. It's easy to get blocked in, and even though it's not an aerodynamic-based racetrack, having a car in front of you still has to affect your lap.
And they shortened up practice time, or this the time of the round. They've shortened it up and made it a little more difficult for all the teams to get their laps in if they want to be this patient. So definitely going to have some guys trying to cram onto the racetrack in the last 5 minutes or last 10 minutes, and that could, it could affect your line, could affect the aero on your car, make your little aero tight. Just depends.
Went from 20 last year to 15 minutes this year. It looks like they can go to 10 minutes as patient as these drivers are being shortened up a little bit more.
Oh, Michael McDowell, he was going to run a second lap, but was sideways off turn 2. He decided, enough of that.
But even being sideways, that's faster than he ran in practice. Unfortunately, he was only 30th in practice.
Bubba Wallace coming out on the racetrack. Remember, got to stay below that yellow line until you get to turn 2.
Ran a 28.87 in practice.
These bumps getting into turn 3.
Gonna come to pit road.
Steve, I agree with you. I think that as this time winds down with just over 10 minutes left, at some point this place will get very crowded, and trying to get a clean racetrack, somebody could get blocked. You don't know if a guy's going to run 1 lap or 2 laps. You could see some spotters yelling at each other.
There's nothing wrong other than the fact that the track's going to, get crowded, and you could get somebody in your way when you're trying to run your lap. There's really nothing wrong with waiting. It's all positives. The track's getting a little bit better.
As long as your lap's good. Exactly. So if you wait and you have a bad lap, and you don't have time to come in and get it cooled down and get your tires cooled down a little bit, that could be a negative.
Absolutely.
That's the danger in waiting a long time, is that not everybody's going to have a great lap, and some people will have to go back out and run a second time.
Yeah, if you got confidence in your car, you think you're not going to have that issue, but those guys that don't have confidence in their cars, we would always do that. If we didn't feel like our car was that great, we gave ourselves that cushion to be able to come back in and maybe make some adjustments and try again.
We have 38 confident crew chiefs and drivers at the moment.
They think that they're only going to need that one run, whether they get in or not.
Kyle Weatherman here in the 99 trying to make his second start of the year. He also started at Chicago for a 33rd place finish.
Quite a big difference in practice between first and 24th, the cutoff. A 28.30 to a 29 flat. That's a big, that's 7/10, which is quite a bit actually for this series. Usually these guys, it's a lot tighter. So,
and that's something we've seen. Kyle Busch was the fastest in practice but he's been one of those guys that won't necessarily go out and run as hard as he can in this first session to try to save a little bit of tire. Marty.
Oh, this is going to be fun, Jeff. 9:12 left in the session. You see Jimmy Johnson rolling to the end of pit road. Chad Canal said on the radio, this is going to be ugly at the end of the session. So he wanted Jimmy to run to the end of pit road, park, and wait on him to go. One spotter just said this is a giant game of chicken. You see the clock ticking down. How do you position yourself to make sure you don't get blocked in and lose a lap on the track that you want?
Yeah, the competition on the track, it's tough, but it's just as tough right here on pit road. Guys will pull down here and try to get in front of these cars. Like somebody's going to try to get down there in front of Austin Dillon. Somebody may try to get down here in front of the 12 car to position themselves to be able to get out on the track immediately. Look at this. See, Jones? See, they want to be able to get out on the track immediately as soon as the spotter, the crew chief says, all right, I want to go right now. Well, if you're in the back of that line and you start pulling out, other guys may have the same opinion and same decision to pull out as well, and then you got to wait. And so the competition right here to try to be toward the front of that line is just as critical as on the racetrack. Really, very.
And there's no rule. There's no rule. It's just, roll down there and, y'all work it out amongst yourselves.
Because that always works out well.
Other than the only rule they have really is keep that middle open. So cars can go, somebody wants to drive straight through.
See Ty Dillon here in the 13. Been a little bit of, I would call it a rough year for the 13.
Absolutely, yeah.
I expected them to be a little bit better with a lot of RCR technical help. Matt Moreland, now the crew chief on this car. But just really still searching for kind of a high point of the year. Really yet to experience one. I guess Daytona, their 6th place finish at Daytona in July has to be the best run that we've seen out of this car. Although, to be fair, that was really a case of survival for everyone in that race, it seems like.
Just like all the other Chevrolet teams, they're trying to find a little bit that they've lost over the last year with the new car, but yet with the changes at crew chief, you expected them to make some improvement, make some gains. Yet to see that.
It's fascinating to me that not more people have hit the racetrack. They're just not giving themselves much time to go out for a second run. I certainly the racetrack will probably be better as you wait, but not everybody's going to make top 24. Somebody's going to have to go back and make another run.
You guys' anxiety's growing up here. You're not even in a car. I can see it.
Yeah. Well, I'd be nervous on the end of pit road. I'd be wanting to go. I don't like waiting around, sitting at the end of pit road. I wanted to go.
Only 5 cars have clocked a time.
Steve, you use the word anxiety. I'm looking at Todd Gordon right now, and he looks as relaxed as I've ever seen a human being. He's sitting up here just like he's not worried at all about his car going out on the racetrack. He knows it's going to be fast. There's just a confidence and a really relaxed feeling with these guys as you're almost 7 minutes still in this session.
Well, Rick, that's the guy who's making the decision. It's the crew chief's decision when to go on the racetrack. He's the master planner. He's going to absolutely ask his driver, ask his spotter, but in the end, the crew chief's going to decide when to go on the racetrack, and you have to kind of exude that confidence. I've been that guy, and I'm telling you, you can have butterflies on the inside. You could be wanting to throw up, but you can't let those competitors see you on either side of you on pit road. You have to sit there stoically like you know you have a plan.
Well, he may look calm. I can guarantee you they're not. So all the teams are talking, and it's interesting, Steve. Normally you would kind of calculate when you need to leave pit road to get 1 lap in. Well, a lot of teams are saying they want to make sure they can get 2 laps in because we've talked about how tricky it is to hit the perfect lap here at New Hampshire. So the answer to that is 1 minute and 20 seconds. You have to leave pit road 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock in order to get 2 laps in here at New Hampshire.
Well, Marty, if 10 cars all leave with 1 minute 20 left, what could go wrong? I mean, that's the concern is everyone understands what they're going to do, but they're all waiting to see what kind of shape the track's in. Austin Dillon, 28.97, goes the fastest currently. But remember, guys, a 28.3, 6.5 tenths faster than that was fastest in practice.
I have to wonder if these teams don't know that the K&N Series changed their tire. That it's not a bias ply tire anymore.
But it's a different manufacturer?
No, it's a Goodyear.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, even still, sometimes different compounds, different constructions.
It's the same tire. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's the same tire.
Well, Alex Bowman's going to be a big test. He was 8th in practice at a 28.5.
I think with that knowledge, man, a lot of these guys would have went out earlier.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, part of the homework. You ask what crew chiefs have to do during the week. That's something simple, as Bowman now goes to the top of the board at 28.7. So that's 0.2 slower than he ran in practice. We'll see if he runs a second lap, and if he does, it looks like he's at speed. He's going to run a second lap. He's trending in the green. If you look down a little bit, forward below his name is his current lap. Trending in the green. If he can pick up 2.10, that tells me the track is as good as it was in practice.
It's hard, and it's hard here, Steve, to go out and run as fast as you ran in practice. This track's always been like that. It's some tracks we see them go out and pick up 7, 8 tenths, but it's hard to do that at this one.
Nice job, bud. P1 right there.
Well, Kyle Busch coming to the green with sideways. Will he give everything he's got to this qualifying session, or will he try to save a little bit of tire?
I think he goes as hard as he can and does it on only one lap would be what I was.
Right.
If I'm Adam Stevens, my goal is to go out, push it, and run only one lap. So you see, I mean, okay lap. It's going to come back towards the green here. He's going to be close to P1. As you see, Kyle Larson obviously is a little off compared to the 18. He might have to run a second. Kyle Busch does go to the top of the board.
What do they do? Is that good enough? Will that make the top 24? They think it will. He's slowed his lap down. They're done.
Kyle Larson, I don't feel has as much confidence, though, Junior. He's going to have to run a second one. Nope. I'm wrong. The 42 has quit. That's a lot of confidence to sit on a fourth quick lap with only.
Look how busy they are down at the end of pit road. Everybody's trying to. We've got 3 minutes left, and these guys are trying to hustle to get out there and get these 2 laps in. They need to be able to give themselves enough time to run 2 laps if they need that second lap.
But what they've done is not given themselves enough time to run again.
Right.
It's going to have to happen this time on the racetrack.
That's what's fascinating to me. Everybody's so confident that they can make the first round. See Denny Hamlin on the right side of the screen. Everybody in that third groove. Talked about that sticky stuff. It's got a lot of grip. They all turn down, get on the bottom of toward the bottom of the racetrack on corner exit. Hamlin to third.
You mentioned it, guys. As I look here, the 78's on the racetrack, and behind him, only about 10 car lengths, is the 41. Behind the 41 is the 4. 5 car lengths behind him is the 21.
That's almost. I mean, that shouldn't bother those cars, but that's pushing your luck. Don't
How about
you
the
think?
drivers? Do you think it bothers the drivers though to see it?
I don't think they're veterans, and it shouldn't, and I don't think it would. But I would any closer, and I'd be a little concerned that it could affect the aero on the car just a little bit. But
so to be clear, that means it bothered me. I'd struggle with that.
Yeah.
Qualifying, I want a clean racetrack.
Anyway, Kurt was third, so Truex fourth. Harvick sixth, so it didn't seem to affect them too badly, if at all. But I would want more room just to know that it didn't affect me.
And now we have some names. You got Matt Kenseth 23rd. I don't think that's going to last. I think he's going to move very quickly with the guys that still haven't run. There he is. He's already outside the top 24.
Wade Bynum with a good run.
Talked about how this track perhaps won't be as aerodynamically as sensitive as a fast 1.5 mile to see if some of these Chevrolets can find a little bit more competitiveness.
Jimmy Johnson was good in practice. He had good pace. 6th fastest. Plenty good to the cut line in 24th.
And I think a lot is going to move quickly as you see Bubba Wallace out, Buscher, Stenhouse Jr., even Austin Dillon. I'm not sure if they're safe with how many cars are on the racetrack.
Austin's down here at the end of pit road getting ready to go if he needs to.
Well, he better go. 34 seconds left.
It's about too late for him to try to go and make it back around. Here he goes, though, off pit road.
You can almost wish they could have told Boyer to just shut it down.
Yeah.
He probably would have been safe. It's easy for us to say, right? He didn't pick up on the second lap.
I don't think Austin is going to make it back to the flag to be able to. Am I here?
Yeah,
Nope, he didn't make it.
Jimmy Johnson's still on the racetrack.
Darrell Wallace Jr. really the last guy on the racetrack to see if he can find something down here at this end, trending the wrong direction. That's, I think, going to be too much to make up just off of turn 4. So that right there is going to set the top 24 and be the end of round 1 of qualifying. Well, they all waited, but somehow they all found some clear track. The 24 advance into round 2.
Well, these are the guys that did not advance out of round 1 here in New Hampshire. Crazy qualifying session. Everybody waited to go, and these guys didn't get a chance to go out and run a second time. Who are you with, Rick?
I'm still learning how to turn my microphone on, but I have Ty Dillon here, and he was 7/1000ths of a second from advancing into the next round. And in the big picture, is it cool that your daughter crawled for the first time today?
Yeah, she's been working on it for the last couple weeks, and we were just sitting out by the bus kind of waiting before qualifying, and she took 2 or 3 little crawls, so we just documented on the vlog. So it'll be on YouTube here coming up. But, man, it's a nice improvement for our team and our Geico Camaro. Getting a little bit better here in qualifying. I felt like I would have been a little bit better even yet, but my brakes kind of went to the floor there in qualifying, which isn't a very comfortable feeling. But we're working really hard as a team, and we got to get back to where we were last year at the beginning of the year. We had good speed and competing with some of these guys. So I feel pretty good about where we're going with our team, and this is a good step in the right direction.
All right, Ty's going to start 25th, guys.
Well, it's an exciting day. See your baby crawl for the first time. I know he's disappointed to qualify 25th, but
that takes the sting out of it.
It definitely takes the sting out.
Hey guys, next week, NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series returns to Pocono Raceway, and there are tickets still available as everything heats up and we push to the playoffs. Come join us at Pocono. Visit NASCAR.com/tickets to purchase your tickets today. These guys think they're going to come. They look like they're having a blast.
They look like a couple of future crew chiefs there, Steve.
I'm telling you, the ingenuity. You can see the ingenuity as they climbed across those rocks.
How about this? How about this? Future Olympian.
I can do
Sizing it up. There he goes.
Go.
And his mother is watching and wondering where is Dad at this moment. Yeah, there she is.
Where's Dad?
Mom's Denny Hamlin fan. She's happy.
I wonder who
we got Denny Hamlin and Chase Hamlin fan. That must be a fun household.
I mean, they left Martinsville. They didn't talk for a week, those two. My man had a scanner he was trying to clip to his pocket. They had a lot going on out there.
I was wondering who they were listening to.
New session, same story. Will the patience continue? I see some rolling to pit road, but not a lot of action.
I think now you want to roll, right? You got a little heat in your tires.
Buscher's the first guy I see out on the racetrack.
Nope, they're going to sit.
Nope.
Except for Buscher.
Chris Buscher said it worked last time. I'm going to do it again.
Kurt Busch is taking off pit road. He'll make a lap.
If you have confidence you can make that next round, I say you go early.
I just like to get it over with. My nerves.
Yes.
I'm glad we got to this. I was wondering how long this was going to take.
My nerves about qualifying and just whether it's going to be happy or disappointing. I just like, let's just go and find out.
You know, a car trip with your kids. Hey, Steve, can we go yet? Can we go? Can we go?
But to be fair, you weren't a few crew chiefs. It was probably pretty difficult.
Chris Busch, you see working that steering wheel. You watch that left front tire kind of turn left to right, fighting the bounds. You actually see the hands right in the windshield right there.
It's so intense qualifying. It's amazing trying to lay lap time down. And you know when you've hit it, you know when you haven't. And just small things make big differences in making lap time. And we've said it 1,000 times, but this track is one of the very hardest to hit it right in qualifying.
Kurt Busch was 10th quick in practice. He goes to the top of the board now. So, and I would think they'd have to look at it as a disappointment if they can't move on. You know, if you're in the top 12 in practice, you want to repeat.
That's right.
Do that again. Larson
out of the groove a little bit on this lap.
Yeah, you could see it as it trends into red quickly. He's going to have to throw that lap away. But is it going to affect this lap since it happened coming to the start-finish?
Yeah, the question is there enough debris on his tires to mess up his lap? I don't think so, but it's hard to know. There haven't been a lot of cars on the racetrack, but you can see it's still falling off down the back straightaway. And now you messed it up once, so now you're afraid to drive in the corner as hard as you really need to because you're afraid you're going to miss it again.
At 59, that Kurt runs right on top of pretty much what he ran in practice. So that's it's a good estimate of, you know, if that's 10th place in practice, it's a pretty good estimate of right around where that might be.
And to your point, Jeff, Kyle Larson, as we watch Brad Keselowski, Kyle Larson's going to make a 3rd lap. So he must have felt like that bobble affected his 2nd lap. He's going to still try, and it still doesn't seem like it's going to be an improvement here.
He may have been better off just stopping, coming down pit road, cooling the engine back off, letting the tires cool down, and then go make another run. That's easy to say from up here. Whole another game when you're in the heat of the fire.
See if Alex Bowman can continue the quick speed out of the Hendrick can. Oh, yeah, 2nd quick right there. Now, the question is, does he run another one, right? Is a 70 enough?
Well, I think that's the question. I don't think people know if it's enough or not, because speeds in round 1 were pretty far off of what speeds were in practice, so I don't know anybody knows how fast you need to be. He told him to shut it down.
He got the information in time from, you know, probably from watching our feed and seeing the distance and the time.
That wasn't going to be any better, so
there you go.
We'll call it down, P2 right there.
So wait, you've heard that same voice give me that same information. It was like behind the scenes stuff.
That's the thing that's so confusing to me about this racetrack that I never understood is Larson has a great car. He's got a great car. There's nothing wrong with his setup or anything like that. How does a car go out there and not be able to run what he knows it's capable of running? And that's just one of the strange things about trying to get the cars to hook up here at New Hampshire, and especially with the PJ1 and the track being kind of always changing.
Well, I have to agree with Dale Jarrett. He mentioned in that NASCAR America show that this was the driver he was watching this weekend. And I completely have the same opinion as Denny Hamlin goes to the top of the board. Kyle Busch is out there dominating. Denny Hamlin drives, we think, the same equipment as Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota out of the same camp. I'm just waiting for this guy to kind of show up, to break through, to get his first win. This is a track that they have to have circled on the schedule, a track Denny has so much success at. When you think about it, you know, last year, this was the first win he got of the year. He only gets 1 trip there this year. So that's the goal. We'll take a look back to last year. Battling with the 20 right here. And then a scene you're going to see a lot, which is Denny Hamlin win at a short track. 3rd career New Hampshire win right there.
At a short track. This is not a short track.
Oh, it's a short track.
No.
How
big was
the track last week? How big was the track last week? 1.5. So this is shorter.
No, that doesn't mean any track under 2.5.
Lobsters. He's still scared lobsters.
We're going to argue about this all day.
That's right. I'll just jump in there with lobsters and break y'all up.
Good thing.
I'm the moderator.
We're about ready to come to blows.
But Steve, you're right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Suarez with a good lap in 3rd. Ran a 67.
That is a great lap for Daniel. He was 22nd in the first practice with an 87, so
still running a little bit quicker this lap.
And rarely do you think of Weiss as a rookie.
And he's going to pick up this lap. This definitely better.
Man,
he won.
Surprise there.
A 52.
It's going to make that young man smile. He's going to be excited to hear that. That's the best part about qualifying is when you go out there and you don't expect to be the fastest and they come across and tell you you're P1. It's a good feeling.
He needs some positive energy, too. You know, it's just hadn't had the year he expected. He said a few weeks ago, we're going to make the playoffs. I'm telling you, we're going to do it somehow, some way. And qualifying well today could be the start of making something happen and winning this race and put him in the playoffs.
That's Kevin Harvick getting into turn 3 and 4 on his lap. Kyle Busch on the right here. A couple thousandths off.
It's fun watching these drivers. So as you watch the 4 car, the 18 car, when they enter the corner right there, see that dark strip? That's where you want to be. But if you get outside of that, you're done. Your lap is done. So you're flirting with disaster every time you drive in the corner. But if you don't drive in there in the high lane, you're not going to make the time you need to make. Truex the 3rd.
Kyle Busch is who I got trying to win the pole on the fantasy.
Oh! I didn't know we were going to get that information.
I was going to wait till it looked good to say it.
I picked the same guy.
Oh, man. What's wrong with this guy? Eric Jones with his helmet cam right here. Look at this view. You talk about that strip. right in that darker strip of pavement. Now you can't see it because of the glare of the sun, but he's crossed back over, putting the left sides on that lower area. We'll see what the first lap out of the 20 is.
Good lap, 4th.
I love this camera. I don't feel really any urge to drive a race car till this camera comes on the screen.
Brings you right back?
Yeah, man, it's so fun to watch.
And then we show the thermometer inside the car, and he says, okay.
It was cool.
What was I thinking?
Oh, man.
William Byron up to 9th.
I think it's safe to say that 24 is going to run a second lap.
Paul Menard 11th. Harvick's going to get bumped out of this top 12. He's going to have to run again. Well, I don't think he'll have time. Only 2 minutes left. He's on the bubble right now.
Byron, I think, is going to improve his own lap time. Oh, lost a little time there off turn 4. Not going to improve. Still 9th.
That's still a good effort for those guys in a season that's been disappointing as far as trying to get the results. Talked about the Chevrolets today, and that's a good omen, I think, for those guys, for the Chevrolet camp.
But yeah, now you have Elliott, Byron, and Bowman all in the top 12, and Jimmy Johnson yet to run.
Boyer can't lock himself into the top 12 at 14th.
Kevin Harvick doesn't want to see any green on the screen. He's the guy in the bump spot. Well, here's Jimmy Johnson. That's got to be, I know it's a small little victory, but if you're Jimmy Johnson in the 48, you could bump someone like the 4 Kevin Harvick out.
Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon in the green there for a little bit.
I said Harvick wasn't going to make the top 12 because he's on the bubble, but right now nobody's showing the speed to knock him out. Marty.
And for these guys like Jimmy Johnson, Brad Keselowski just leaving pit road. Junior, you talk about being nervous. They told Brad, you have to leave with 40 seconds left. He left with a little bit more than that, but that's pressure, having to do it in 1 lap guaranteed here at New Hampshire.
Having to leave, you know, right at that second, and also having to go out there and produce. Man, that is tough. A lot of nerves.
And if you're Kevin Harvick, this is the guy you're watching. He's who you're afraid of. He hasn't made a run in his second session yet. He's got cool tires, has good speed. They run well every week.
Brad does it. He's up to 11th.
Puts Menard on the bubble at 12th. Menard's had a couple of good weeks here qualifying. They found some good speed the last 2 weeks.
Ran well last week.
Chicago.
Almirola, he's gaining on it. It's going to be close. Oh, 13.
Man.
He ran a 28.727. He needed to run a 28.720. That's how close it is, Steve.
With Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series qualifying. Here's the end of the second round. The guys that didn't advance. Kevin Harvick, a lot of Clint Boyer, a lot of guys that we think are going to have great days. Kyle Larson down there in 20th. Let's go over to Stanford, check in with Carol and Parker. What you guys got going on?
Welcome to the NASCAR America Set. We'll be with you at the top of the hour at 6 p.m. for more discussion on today's qualifying. Where do you want to start? Let's start with the Toyotas. We've talked all week on the show about how dominant they've been at this racetrack, and they're right at the top.
They're showing again top 5 there in round 2. I don't understand. I mean, I want to know, like, what are they doing? Why is it a Toyota track? What is suiting them? You know, it's not an aero track. We've talked about with Steve Tart how this is one of those tracks where you feel like it's more about mechanical grip and it's not so much about the body and the aero. So why are they so fast? I just don't know.
Well, to that end, Steve said on NASCAR America yesterday that he thought that this track may offer something when it comes to Hendrick Motorsports. And what are your observations so far from what they've shown us?
Well, we saw in the first round Alex Bowman and William Byron really fast. Chase Elliott was fast in the second round. I believe Bowman and Elliott made it through to the third round. So I think definitely positive things for Hendrick there. Not so positive for the 7-time champion, the 48. He did not advance to the third round. It looked like he had to do 3 laps in the first round, and in the second round just didn't have the speed there. So I'm not sure what his car was doing differently. There's been but definitely the Hendrick Motorsports cars looked like they had just a little bit more speed than we've normally seen out of them.
It's a question that we've asked a number of times. Marty Snyder posed the question to GJ just a short time ago, but qualifying at this track in particular, how important is it?
It's incredibly important. It's just hard to pass. I know they put the PJ1 down on the bottom and on the top, but all day we've been hearing from drivers saying, you know, qualifying matters because it's just hard to pass. It's hard to get a run on another car, and when you do, a lot of times if they're on the outside lane, they can pinch you down, and you can just find yourself kind of frustrated at times trying to make a pass. So having track position is really important at this racetrack, and it just gives you that chance to be in clean air. Your crew chief can make better decisions, and you can hopefully keep it throughout the day because it's, remember, also a shorter race for the Cup Series.
We're going to throw you in the NBC iRacing Simulator.
That's where we are,
Coming up on NASCAR America.
I'm back.
You guys excited about that? You ready to get some
Looking
reps?
forward to it.
Show us the deals. We're also going to have a great feature from Nate Ryan as well. He's going to put what the Big Three have done this season in context. In the meantime, we'll be with you at 6, final round of qualifying coming up right after the break. Stay with us.
Qualifying continues here in New Hampshire. We're finished with 2 rounds, waiting on the final round, the top 12 cars. Guys, let's take a look back. We had Paul Menard, who advanced, qualified in the 12th position. Currently, he'll get another shot in this final round. And Eric Almirola in the 10, the first car eliminated. Let's take a look at the lap track.
Eric gets in the corner a little bit lower, runs through the center lower, but you see that 21 turn in the middle?
Turner got a good launch off turn 2 rather. Got him down the back straightaway. They enter turn 3. Everything's pretty normal, but a big run right here from the 10 trying to make a run back.
Bernard over in there. Didn't turn the center quite as good, but still good enough. Get him at the line.
And guys, so this is a little bit more animated. You can see that 6,000s.
That's animated.
This is animated, thank you. Versus Dartfish that you would see when you were in the car, but you would get to see this real time. Like after you're running qualifying, you see that screen get handed into the driver. That's what drivers are looking at. Paul Menard right there is probably seeing his lap compared to, say, Kyle Busch. Hey, this is where he beat us. Is that what you're thinking? Is there anything you could do perhaps different as a driver? I mean, all that information helps, right, Jim?
It's so different than a spotter saying you were a little bit higher, you know, by, you know, a quarter car length. It's so different. When you can see the visual, then it's, no one has to describe it. It's just all right there.
There's no telling a lie. I mean, if a guy beats you on the corner by arcing an entry better, you can't tell him any different because there it is on film. And so that's this technology is very popular down in the front of the haulers there.
Sometimes.
But the crew chief's real popular.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's
so
popular
here we go.
Yeah, popular with the crew chiefs.
4.5 minutes.
Drivers.
Kurt Busch going out to see if he can set fast time. First one on the track.
He was one of the first ones on the track the last second.
You saw him weaving that car down the back straightaway, trying to get heat in the tires, clean the debris off of them.
This session, guys, I'm telling my driver, hey, make 2 laps regardless. We don't have time to run a second time. We don't need these tires in the race. We're going to be able to put stickers on for the race. So go ahead, run 2 laps if you think it'll help your time.
Hey, run 3.
Now you're just getting crazy.
I mean, if the temperature's good, run 3. Go ahead. It's some laps.
So he entered 3 a little bit higher than he entered turn 1.
I like how he's running and no one else is even there, and he moved out of their garage stall or their pit road stall.
This is setting the tempo, though. Everybody knows he just ran a 28.51.
That's his best lap of qualifying.
So he had run a 59 in round 2. So right now, all that's being communicated to the driver. He just ran 1 lap. That's all he ran. So all that information right now is going to the drivers of the race cars. He just picked up. So the track is capable of running a faster lap time.
So why is this phenomenon continue at New Hampshire where practice speeds continue to be higher than qualifying speeds? Why do they always seem to go slower in qualifying?
I think it's all about the rubber on the racetrack. I think it's about all the cars on the racetrack at the same time. It's all like that all the time here. It just happens, and track temps down. You can see a little bit of cloud cover, shading.
I wonder, too, if with the PJ1, does it need more laps, more heat in it to be activated and increase the grip and the speed?
Yeah, I think that's possible, but prior to the PJ1, it still was that way here. I can remember coming here and just here in Sonoma. Like, if you just run as fast as you ran in practice, you're going to be fine.
William Byron, I don't think he has enough history here to know what he needs to run in practice, but it's been a good day so far. An improvement out of this 24, continually ends up at the top 10 or so in each of these sessions. Let's see if he can continue it. Trending a little in the red.
This is lap 1.
Oh, wiggle out of the 24 and power down. Hurt his lap time for sure. He was only about a 10th off until we saw that big wiggle out of the back of the race car.
See Kyle Busch on the left-hand side of the screen. As fast as coming into this round, as fast as in practice. This first lap's not going to do it. His brother only ran one lap.
Really surprising, too, that the time was as good as it was on that first lap for Kurt.
Kyle's not picking up on this second lap so far. It's going to be hard to pick up time in 3 and 4. See if he can do it.
He's trying. Man, Kurt Busch has put a great lap to jump right on the racetrack. He's put quite a lap up for these guys to shoot at. Chase Elliott in the 5th position.
Martin Truex Jr., we talked so much about how much this track means to him. He's won here in the K&N Series. His brother's won in the K&N Series. His dad won in the K&N Series, but no Cup wins. He wants to win at this track so badly.
Not going to improve on this lap.
Eric Jones with the mulletless Eric Jones trying to make something happen. Oh, you heard him out of the throttle.
Oh, he's just going to give up on it.
Yeah, he's done.
This is the car right here. I'm looking at the 11 of Denny Hamlin. 7, trending the right way. Can he find something in the second lap? 4th on his first lap.
I think we picked the wrong Busch to get the pole, Jeff.
Yes, we did.
Denny
Hamlin, though, he's not done.
Right. That's right. I think the 11's going to get him down here in 3 and 4.
I don't know. He's going to have to get off turn 4 really good.
It's going to be hard to do on a second lap.
Backs up the entry nice.
Making a run. All right, just couldn't stay in the gas. Keselowski left to run. Paul Menard also.
Brad's currently 6th, coming to his second lap here.
It's like the first guy on the racetrack is going to be the guy that accomplishes it.
There you go.
Not only a pole sitter, but you think about it, he's the only Stewart-Haas driver to make the last round, round 3, and on top of that, sat on the pole. Marty.
Oh, hell yeah. And let's chat with Kurt, who's obviously very happy to be on the pole here at New Hampshire. And an early run for the 41 team. And how about a great race car and going out early? How key was that, Kurt?
That's what Billy Scott said to go and do. And so I don't want to second guess anything. When the crew chief says go, you just go. And I like the way that, we made the right changes through each of the rounds and we stuck to a game plan. That's exactly what you hope to have each time you go to qualifying, where you don't have to deviate away from the plan you set in place.
This is a tough place to pass, Kurt. So how advantageous is it to be on the pole and get that first pit stall selection as well?
That'll help big time. When your car's working good, you can pass. And with the VHT in lane 1 and lane 3, it changes the game on how Loudon is raced. But overall, just thanks to Monster for Ford. This is great to be on pole. I mean, this is exactly what we needed to kind of just start that, second half vibe going off,
How much will this racetrack change, you think, from practice today by the time we race on Sunday with the PJ1 moving around?
Yeah, and then you have the modifieds here, and you have the K&N East car, so lots of different rubber, lots of different track buildup, and then temperatures, too. I think it's supposed to be cooler on Sunday, so I'm just happy we got pole right now. That's all that matters with the 41 Ford. Thanks, guys.
And he's going to think about race trim tomorrow. The driver got it done, but the call by Billy Scott to go out early when everybody else waited might have been the key. Kurt Busch on the pole here at New Hampshire.
That's Kurt's first pole at New Hampshire in his 35th start, man. Those guys are happy. We'll be back.
Well, there he is, guys. The fastest guy in New Hampshire. Kurt Busch sits on the pole here. Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series qualifying complete from New Hampshire. Guys, let's take a look. Kurt Busch on the pole. Martin Truex Jr. qualified second. Let's see how they did it.
Well, you see turn 1. This is it. He drives in the corner. Gets a little more speed in turn 1, and it pretty much stays consistent from here on out. You see a little bit of a gap created off turn 2, Junior.
And one thing I noticed is, aside from the entry to turn 1, He also runs lower off the corner, which putting the entire car in the PJ1 application and having 4 tires in that, where Truex is using a little bit of the old surface with 2 tires in a PJ1 and 2 tires out of it. So interesting lines, difference there gets Kurt the pole.
Well, we already heard from Kurt Busch, the pole sitter, moments ago. Rick caught up with Martin Truex Jr.
All right, Martin Truex Jr., you qualified second, so you're going to start on the front row. How difficult is it to figure out the lines now with the PJ1 or the adhesive that they put down on the track?
You know, we've done it here once before, so it's not that tricky. It's just really a matter of how good are they going to be when we start the session, you know, because other cars have been out there. You know, Xfinity had 2 practices. Modifieds had their 30-lap race. So the question is, how much grip is it going to have when I get to it? And is it going to be like it was in practice? You know, so for us, we had to change the balance a bit from practice. And I felt like we hit it pretty good there. But, you know, we'll go into tomorrow and, you know, it'll change throughout practice. And then again on Sunday, usually they respray it Sunday morning. So you just, the biggest change is when they redo it or other guys race. Between times we're on it, and you're just never sure what it's going to do.
Still looking for that first Cup win here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, but he starts on the front row.
Well, and you don't have to be on the pole anywhere inside the top 12. I said would be a good starting position, have a good pit stall. But another driver inside the top 12, the 7th qualifier, Eric Jones in the 20. You guys saw it live. Let's go back inside and get a replay of how busy he was here during qualifying.
Well, let's just listen to that, see how hard it is to make a lap here at Loudon. So right there, Junior, he turned to try to leave and get good speed, and he was in the throttle, and all that noise you heard, that was him coming in and out of the throttle trying to get the rear tires to hook up.
Yeah, there's no lateral grip. We always talk about the car shearing the rear tires. That's shearing the rear tires. That's the grip just shearing off, and the car swinging the back on exit. There's so many things happening there. You're leaving PJ1, maybe you're entering PJ1. There's old asphalt, there's new asphalt, newer asphalt, and so there's so many things happening with the grip and the level of grip that you have as you go around that corner, and that drive off is something guys are going to fight all day long off of turn 2 and off of turn 4 on Sunday.
Well, our man Rick Allen is hustling around down there on pit road. He also caught up with Eric Jones.
All right, standing by with Eric Jones. And Eric, top 10 qualifying, you're going to start 7th. So do you feel like that's a momentum boost for you guys? You feel good about where you're starting tonight?
Well, yeah, I think it's okay. You know, we wanted to qualify a little bit better, but top 10 here is always a good effort. So we'll roll with that and hopefully pick up some spots here early on and be able to get up front. But, you know, I think we just didn't expect to get the track as free as it was in the last round, and that's where we kind of missed it on the DeWalt Camry. But we'll go to work tomorrow and get a good race trim. That's what really matters for this weekend. So we'll keep working at it, but we're pretty happy with that.
How much do you lean on your teammates? I mean, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, they've both been very good at this racetrack. Will you go back and you'll say, all right, guys, what do I need to do?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely look at a lot of their data and kind of ask some of the biggest thing I thought we fought here in the fall last year and what kind of cost us a shot at running up front with Kyle was the PJ1 wearing out and not being able to keep up with that and not having our car handling good on the track without it. So if we can work on that and get our car better for when that's going to wear out, you know, I think we'll be in a better spot. So ask them about that is going to be the biggest thing, and hopefully work on it for this time.
Already locked into the playoffs, looking for win number 2.
Well, it winds up being 9th fast for Daniel Suarez. Walk me through your lap here in qualifying, Daniel.
It was good. I felt like the 19 hours Toyota Camry actually had a little bit more speed than 9, maybe close to a top 5. The second round, I felt like it was pretty good, and then we just gambled a little bit, making an adjustment, and actually I feel like we jumped the fence a little bit, but even with that, the car was faster than 9. But happy with the improvement from practice, and I feel like we can race from there.
We talk about opportunity races for race teams, and I know you and Scott Graves kind of circle tracks where you think you'll be good. Is this one of them? He had 2 top 10s here last year.
You know, for whatever reason, in Hampshire, you know, I've been racing here for a long time. K&N, trucks, Xfinity, now Cup. And I just feel comfortable, you know, since actually my K&N days, I race well here. So I feel good racing here, and hopefully we can have a strong run on Sunday.
He'd love to gain some points and get himself into that playoff grid on the right side of it.
Standing by with Ryan Blaney, and Ryan qualified 5th. Are you comfortable with that starting position?
Yeah, it's nice to start up, in the top 5 there, and I actually thought we got a little bit worse that last round, and seems like some other cars did too. The times kind of slowed down for some of us, but it was nice to keep improving spots every round. That's what you want to do, but we'll see how our car is in race trim tomorrow. We didn't do any race runs today, so hopefully it'll get hot just like tomorrow, and we'll see what we can do and see where the traction compound goes, and do some long runs and kind of see where our car goes. But pretty proud of this 12 group. Nice to have Menards back on the car this weekend in Sylvania. It's their first race on the hood, so super pumped to have them back. And it's always nice to come up to New Hampshire this week. The weather's always nice, and the people here are amazing. A lot of cool races, the modifieds and Xfinity cars racing, K&N cars and us, so I'm excited to get going.
As a fan of racing, obviously this place is packed with racing. So what do you do when you're not on the track? Are you out watching the races?
Yeah, I love watching the modified races. They put on a heck of a show, and I think they got a doubleheader here this weekend. So I'm excited for them to get going. And the East race should be pretty good, or the K&N race should be pretty good too. But yeah, I just like watching racing no matter what racetrack it is. But here it's really. I think it's pivotal to kind of watch the racing and see where the PJ1 goes. It kind of when it wears off and if it does wear off. And I think that just helps us out on Sunday. But, the non-driver in me just likes to watch races here. I think they're exciting.
So he's going to watch as a fan, and he's also going to watch to try to learn to what the lines will change as the races continue.
Well, the one guy we thought might have a shot at that pole position was Denny Hamlin. We saw you kind of back up turn 3. Was that what you were trying to do, is gain some speed through 3 and 4 there?
Yeah, I mean, typically on the second lap, I'd been, in 14 years, I usually blow through the front tires through 3 and 4, trying to get a little more. So just trying to be patient with it. I got back to the gas pretty good, but I just had a bad angle for the exit. But overall, kind of should have got it done on the first lap. Just got a little too edgy into one and shattered the rears, but overall, decent day so far. We'll work on it tomorrow and get this thing good for 300 and we're still 301?
I think we are, yeah, 301.
For 301 laps.
Yeah, well, how much did the track change throughout all 3 sessions, Denny?
I didn't think it changed that much. You kind of saw it in the lap times. They all stayed pretty close. I think there was a bigger jump from round 1 to 2, and I think that's just drivers getting the rhythm more than anything. And also sticker tires are a little bit slower than what cycle tires are. So that's pretty much it. It's hard to kind of come out here after you've been sitting for 3 or 4 hours and do it right away. But there at the end, you saw the fastest times because drivers were in the rhythm, tires are good, and obviously the crew chiefs work on these cars.
All right, needing a win, are you going to be cool if they hand you a lobster? What's the reaction going to be Sunday?
The way my month is gone, I'll take 2.
You might kiss on the lips even?
That's pushing it.
But he will definitely take a lobster because that lobster would mean a playoff ticket.
So things have changed and they've gotten very important as the year winds down. So much so that Denny Hamlin will hold 2 lobsters where last year he would get near one of them.
Do lobsters have lips, though? I'm confused about that question.
You're the guy from up here. You're supposed to know.
I don't know. But I think that just shows where Denny is. We've talked that that's a driver we're looking at here at New Hampshire. And I think you can hear it there. He wasn't down on his race team, but very simply, over the last month, anything in the right direction would be a step up for this 11 at a track that he runs well at. I think it's going to be interesting to see how hard he pushes the issue. We saw Ricky Stenhouse a couple weeks ago really jump over the fence and be maybe too aggressive at Daytona. What are we going to do as we get closer to the playoffs?
Yeah, the one thing that I picked up on was listening to Eric Jones talk about how when the PJ1 wears off, he needs to have a car that still handles and be able to, it can run and do what it needs to do. And we also heard Kevin Hart talked about that. As the PJ1 moves around, changes, and even goes away in the race, you need a car that still does the things you need it to do. So that's what I'll be paying attention to going forward. Qualifying's done. It's out of the way. These guys can go home. They come back tomorrow, start working on their cars in race trim and trying to get that thing to be perfect no matter what the track conditions are.
Kurt Busch, man, he sat on the pole. We ain't even talked about him. So, for me, I think moments like that in a year mean so much. And when you're Kurt Busch and you have 2 of your teammates have won multiple races, to come and sit on the pole and say, hey, we're a threat to win also, I think that could speak volumes. And it could be a turning point for he and that team to build some positive momentum and put themselves in position to win some races.
Yeah, I mean, he has seen his teammates win races. Now Kurt Busch wants to go out and get his win, a 3-time winner in New Hampshire. After the break, we're going to head up to Stamford, check in with Carolyn Mano, Parker Klickerman, get their thoughts on qualifying.